The shock death of a young Thai activist has brought focus again on the repressive lese majeste laws. We spoke to a prominent scholar about her efforts to highlight the laws.
Well, she has been a leading activist who had campaigned for the reform of Article 112, which is lese majeste law, which forbids anyone to criticize the monarchy. She has been doing it for quite some time, and she has been charged with lese majeste, as we know.
Yeah, and she went on a hunger strike, I understand, so she had been refusing food.
Yes, she has been in prison for over 100 days. Throughout this time, in order to protest against the denial of her bail, she went on hunger strike. And even then, to the point of she became seriously ill, the court would not grant her a bail.
Now, she's not, unfortunately, the only one, sadly, that has been on hunger strike, is jailed under these laws. I understand there's another person who's been rushed to hospital today.
Yeah, in fact, there's another two outstanding cases. Both are in their early 20s, one woman and one man. And right after the death of Bung, the girl has to be rushed to the hospital. This would be second case of her going on hunger strike. So we don't know what's going to happen to her. But all in all, it's not only these three people who has gone on hunger strike against the lese majeste law. There's still sort of more than 20 people has gone on hunger strike throughout this period.
And this is, from what I understand, part of an activist group that is really trying to draw attention to this issue. What do you make of this kind of protest when it seems we're in a period of cracking down on anyone who speaks out against this?
Well, we have to understand that, the first protest came about 2020. Again, that protest was about, to call for the reform of the monarchy, including the reform of the lese majeste law. But then the protest sort of, fizzled out 2 years later. So after that, there would be this kind of smaller group, including Bung's group called Thalu Wang, who want to continue with the agenda. So even though, against the crackdown of the government, these smaller groups continue to do their campaign.
Yeah. And I mean, the climate is quite restrictive. I mean, we even saw the party that won the most support in the most recent elections had that as part of their agenda, this reform.
Well, I mean, that has been such a great disappointment because the ruling party today, the Pheu Thai party, used to be on the pro-democracy side until they switch side, to now become a supporter of you could say, the old establishment. And in so doing, in order to have that access to power, the ruling party then ignored, the public call for the lese majeste law. So that's why, at this point in time, when Thailand just passed, the election, when this government used to be the hope for the younger generation in order to push the country forward, no, we have not gone anywhere.
So what is the feeling in Thailand today, with her death and the frustration that there is no progress on this issue?
The frustration, you can see it from both sides, and this is quite a tragic story for Thailand right now. There's a lot of people out there who become so, very happy with the death of that young activist. And that is sort of heartbreaking for me, whereas, of course, the other side, feel sympathetic toward the death. So, the two sides sort of, fighting over social media. Then what does this tell us? It's just telling us that two things. One thing is the monarchy as an institution has remained highly divisive among the Thai people. And second one, which is equally important, is I think it is now time that the Thai people, no matter from what side you are from, have to come together and discuss seriously the issue of lese majeste law.
You know, I'm interested, Pavin, in your thoughts. When the new king ascended to the throne, we know how revered King Bhumibol was, but when he came to the throne, I think people thought it would be more progressive, that there would be more openness, and that you know there wasn't going to be this ongoing sort of clamping down on anything to do with the monarchy. But this just hasn't materialised, has it?
Well, I wouldn't say that, people would expect him to be progressive. Maybe people expect him to be, not to be too interested in politics. Let me put that way.
Yeah.
And that's why in 2017, just only a year after his enthronement, he has called for a moratorium of lèse-majesté law. Basically, he asked the Thai state, the Thai government to stop using lèse-majesté law. I think this is basically for him to rebuild his international reputation. Yeah, but after 2017, then 2 or 3 years later came with big protests, that called for the reform of the monarchy. That when he instructed the return of lèse-majesté law, basically around the end of 2020. And from the end of 2020 until now, you have seen the sharp increase of lèse-majesté cases in Thailand. So right now, it had been no stop in terms of, using lèse-majesté law in order to curb critique of the monarchy.
Yes, and so that he's really just gone to protect his status
Definitely.
even further. You live in exile in Kyoto because you can't speak your mind on these matters. How do you feel about the climate there? I mean, in some areas they do seem to be making some progress, but in others it just feels as if, the younger generation have got not a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I myself also have been charged with lèse-majesté. That's why I cannot return home. Looking at Thailand from where I am now, this is such a low point, when it comes to human rights situation. It is such a low point because right now we have elected government. Right? When people talk about elected government, especially from the viewpoint of the international community, they thought that it would be okay. And then they do not want to interfere so much because this is not military government. This is still an elected government. So that's why I think for myself, doing this kind of advocacy, vis-a-vis lèse-majesté issue, I find it very difficult at this point. It's more difficult than when we were under the military government because, when you want to push the issue further, no one want to listen to it. So I think this is such a crucial time. I don't know, but the death of this young activist could bring something fresh into Thai politics. I don't know that whether there would be a kind of or a new round of protests coming up. I don't, but it could instigate such kind of new round of protests.
We'll watch and see how it does play out. Really great to talk. Thanks so much.
Thank you.